You know, losing someone we love is one of the most profound and difficult things we ever face. And right in the middle of all that grief, this question always seems to come up, and it feels both urgent and, well, kind of helpless. Is there anything I can do for them now? Today, we're going to dive into the Buddhist perspective on that exact question. Think of it as a spiritual roadmap for how we, the living, can offer some comfort, some guidance, and a little bit of light to those who have passed on.
So yeah, let's just start right there with that central question. When someone's journey in this life ends, what can we, the ones left behind, really do to genuinely help them on their way? It's a question that gets right to the core of our compassion, and you might be surprised to find that Buddhist teachings offer some really concrete and powerful answers.
Okay, so let's get into it, starting at what is maybe the most critical time, the final moments of life. According to these teachings, what we do right at the point of someone's passing can create hugely different conditions for the person who's departing. This is where we can have a really immediate impact.
Now, what's really interesting here is just how clear the guidance is. It's almost like a do this, not that list. On one side, you have these helpful actions, things that create a peaceful atmosphere, like lighting lamps, chanting the names of enlightened beings, or gently reading sacred texts. The idea is that these acts generate positive energy. Then, on the other side, you've got actions considered harmful, like animal sacrifices or praying to worldly spirits, which are believed to just add to the karmic burden and distress of the person who's dying. So, the bottom line is, our actions can either help lighten their path or, well, make it heavier.
And this just perfectly shows the power we have in those moments. I mean, think about this. The teachings say that if a dying person simply hears the name of a Buddha or a Bodhisattva, that one single sound can be powerful enough to dissolve some seriously heavy negative karma. It's just a profound act of compassion, reminding them of enlightenment at the most pivotal moment of their transition.
But here's the thing, the support doesn't stop at the moment of death. What comes next is a really critical 49-day period. You can think of it like a spiritual layover, where the consciousness is figuring out what's next. And during this time, our help is still incredibly valuable.
This period is known as the bardo, or the intermediate state. The consciousness is described as being, well, disoriented, almost like waking up from a really vivid dream and not knowing where you are. It's a vulnerable time for sure, but it's also a time of immense opportunity. The actions of the living can actually act like a guiding light, helping the deceased navigate all that confusion and find a positive path forward.
Okay, now here's a fascinating and often really misunderstood point. When we do good deeds, like making offerings or chanting in the name of the deceased, who actually gets the benefit? Who gets that merit? You'd probably assume it all goes to the person who has passed, but the teachings say the deceased receives 1/7 of the merit. The other 6/7? That comes right back to us, the living, the one who performed the compassionate act. It's like this beautiful spiritual economy where an act of giving actually becomes an even greater act of receiving.
So this idea of helping to purify karma, it isn't limited to just one school of thought. As Buddhism spread all over the world, different cultures developed their own really powerful methods for healing past actions. It's created this sort of global toolkit for compassion that we can all learn from.
In Tibetan Buddhism, for instance, they have a very systematic approach called the Four Opponent Powers. It's a really clear-cut psychological and spiritual process. First, you rely on a source of goodness. Second, you feel genuine remorse for what was done. Third, you apply a remedy by doing something positive. And finally, you resolve. You make a firm decision not to repeat the mistake. It's a really powerful framework for transformation, both for ourselves and when we're acting on behalf of others. And you can see these beautiful variations of the same core principle all over the globe. In East Asian traditions, the focus is often on reciting sutras and making heartfelt offerings. In the Theravada school, there's a big emphasis on merit-making and cultivating self-compassion first, because hey, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And even modern Western interpretations are starting to reframe these rituals as powerful tools for psychological healing, using that repetition to literally rewire our brains toward a more altruistic mindset.
Now, at the heart of so many of these practices, especially when we're talking about the afterlife, is this truly remarkable figure, Kṣitigarbha Bodhisattva. He is revered as the ultimate guardian, a protector who made an absolutely unbreakable vow to help all beings in their time of suffering.
Just how present is he? Well, the texts say that Kṣitigarbha's manifestations are innumerable, as many as the tears shed by all suffering beings. And that's not just some poetic image. It's a promise that wherever there is pain, Wherever there is confusion, a compassionate presence is there, ready to help.
And this really highlights his crucial role. Before his own passing, the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, is said to have entrusted the care of all of humanity during this current age to Kṣitigarbha. So he is in essence our designated guardian, the one who vowed not to rest until every single being is freed from suffering.
So, this brings us all the way back, full circle, to our own lives and our own actions. Understanding these teachings isn't just about learning some cool spiritual concepts. It's about realizing the incredible potential we each have to become a source of comfort and light for others.
Ultimately, these teachings really offer us two profound gifts. The first is the comfort of knowing that we're all under this vast umbrella of care. And the second is the realization that we don't just have to wait around for a miracle. We can actively be a manifestation of that compassion. Every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every effort to help someone in need, whether they're living or deceased, that's how we transform our own grief into powerful, healing action.
And that really leaves us with a final thought. If this compassionate energy is truly present wherever there is suffering, then the real question isn't just about how we can help those who have passed. It's about looking at the world around us right now and asking ourselves, where can I be that source of comfort and protection today?